Another weekend. Welcome to winter in Kansas City. My name is Chris Hernandez, Communications Director for the city. What we're going to do for you today is walk through the plans for our snow removal this coming weekend. Obviously, there is a really big football game in town, right? Go Chiefs. And we are going to start with the city manager and talk about our branch collection that we have just announced as well. Thank you. Troy Schulte.
Chris, thank you. I wanted to give you a reminder on what we're going to do for tree limbs down following last week's storm, and it will be augmented if necessary if the storm coming up generates more downed tree branches. We're asking residents of Kansas City to contact the 311 Center by Thursday, January 24th to get their address on a list for a collection. We want all branches out on the streets by 6 a.m. on Monday, January 28th. We did this for a number of reasons. There's a lot of branches down in backyards, side yards. We've anticipated another snow event. So we want to give time for people to get their yards cleaned up and brought to the curb. It also allows us to use the 2 weeks, this period before the special collection starts, to clean up city trees. We've had several hundred city trees that have been damaged, so our crews right now are busy cleaning up city trees that have damage. So we want to get those issues resolved before we do the residential collection beginning January 28th. We think that collection will take a couple of weeks, but we want all the limbs out there by the 28th, so the quicker we can get through that, the better off it'll be. We will be suspending bulky item collection for those 2 weeks beginning January 28th, because the crews that normally do bulky item collection will be the ones helping the Parks Department with storm debris removal. So I want to let people know that. They will get a notification from 311 on a reschedule for their bulky item collection, but those will be suspended for beginning January 28th for the duration of the special collection. I want to give you a heads up too that because Monday is a holiday, January 21st is a holiday, all city offices will be closed, but we will still be doing snow removal operations, and probably we'll have crews out doing city tree cleanup as well. We will be working that holiday. If there is an emergency issue, there is a way through the 311 by dialing 311 to get to Water Services Dispatch. So that would be a way to just dial 311, follow the prompts, and you can get to 311. You can get to Water Services Dispatch if you've got a tree down or some sort of an issue that's creating a public safety issue, and we will be responding over the weekend. Now I wanted to give you an update on our snow removal and plan. We are declaring a phase 1 snow emergency that will go in effect tomorrow in anticipation of the snow. Public Works has already started pre-treating operations again. Plowing will start Friday, with residential starting Saturday and continuing into Sunday and Monday if necessary, depending on the magnitude of the storm event. We're asking residents to remove their cars from the streets, get them into the driveway or into a garage. A street with less cars on it allows the plows to move faster, and we can get through more of the city on a quicker basis. If you have to park on the street because you don't have a driveway or there's limited space, what we ask is that you keep cars on one side of the road only, so the north or west side. So if you're parked, if you live on an east-west street, park on the west side. If you live on a north-south street, park on the north side. And that would help us, again, get the plows through faster. Backwards. Did I reverse it? All right. East-west street, park on the north side. North-south street, park on the west side. I want to just, again, reiterate what the snow removal plans are. We will clear our arterial streets curb to curb. Residential streets will be cleared with a passable lane. That's about a 7 or 8 foot lane. Again, the more cars that we get off the street, the quicker we can get through there, and we can get the plows down and hopefully get the snow off faster and hopefully get the ice off if it accumulates. We have 320 square miles of area to cover, 6,600 lane miles. Ironically, that is the same thing from a 2-lane road to San Diego to Boston and back. So we're going to just push all the snow to Boston this week. And then we'll have 200 trucks out on the street over the course of the weekend. I did some plowing over the weekend myself. The crews have did a really nice job, but the weather cooperated a little bit in that the weather did not get too cold, that we were able to get the plows down. Temperature stayed around freezing, which allowed us to get down to bare pavement. I'll turn it over to our Assistant Director of Public Works, Greg Boland, who can talk more specifics about our upcoming snow removal plan. Greg, you want to take it from here?
Thank you, Troy, and we did appreciate your help and the fact that he did not end up in a ditch, so we didn't have to go pull him out. But this storm is going to be different. Each storm has its own characteristics. The last event, we had roughly 4 to 8 inches, depending on where you were at, but the temperatures never got below about 30 degrees, so it did allow us to get down to bare pavement in a lot of areas fairly quickly. This event, we've heard anywhere from 1 to 4, 2 to 5, 3 to 6. Big difference is we're not going to have those temperatures. It's going to get down in the 20s by Saturday afternoon. It's going to be single digits the next morning. So what you're going to see this time is you're going to see snow or ice bonding to the pavements. It's not going to get to bare pavement. Once that happens, all we're going to do is be able to remove what's on the top, so you won't see bare pavements as quickly as you did on the last event. We're hoping before the temperatures stop that it does snow or drop, that the snow is coming, because if that rain turns to ice under the snow and you plow the snow, you're left with ice, which makes it difficult to get around. So we have been on split shifts last night, tonight, and we will continue through the weekend as needed, due to the fact they keep talking about we're hovering around freezing. We keep getting this fog and mist and rain overnight, so we want to be prepared. You lose a couple degrees temperature and all hell breaks loose. So we want to make sure we're here for that. We're watching the forecast. It keeps adjusting, but earlier they were talking about a big, heavy snowfall. Now it's probably going to be lighter, but with the winds, you're going to have blowing snow. And as we plow stuff one way, it may blow right back in there. So the conditions are going to be tough for us as well as the public. So definitely watch where you're going, take extra time, because with visibility and blizzard conditions makes it tough on all of us. If we do plow, it may be a little slicker because of the ice glaze. If it's down there, try to get a tire on some of that crunchy snow or drier snow. That may help you with your traction as well. We will definitely be here Friday night, Saturday. We're hoping we get more like the 1 inch so that we can maybe get off on Sunday and watch the game too, or attend the game. But if it doesn't work out that way, we know what we have to do as well. So with that, I'll turn it over to Captain Hernandez.
Good afternoon. I'm Captain Tim Hernandez with the Kansas City Police Department Traffic Division. KCPD is ready for the storm this weekend. We have plenty of resources available and officers to respond on both emergency calls for service and weather-related incidents. Last weekend during the storms, we had a dramatic increase in calls for service related to the weather, and we anticipate the same this week. During the peak hours last week, Saturday morning into afternoon, we responded on 56 calls of stranded motorists, 66 calls of non-injuries, and 26 calls of injury accidents. We anticipate the same, and we're ready, and we're going to be out there available to handle the calls for service. As always, we urge that the public remain off the roads during the storm whenever possible. Fewer cars allows for Public Works and MoDOT to be able to clear the roads and highways quicker. It also aids for emergency responders and utility companies to get out and handle calls for service as well. Those that do need to get out on the roads, we ask that they make sure they take extra cautionary measures. Leave early and give yourself plenty of time. If you need to travel during the storm, expect delays. Slow down and travel on the main thoroughfares whenever possible. Make sure you have a full tank of gas. If you have your cell phone charger, have it in the car, have a fully charged cell phone. Make sure you wear extra layers, have extra coats, blankets in your vehicle in case there is an incident where you do need to abandon your vehicle and be out in the element. Make sure that everyone that is in your vehicle are wearing their seat belts, especially children and toddlers. Make sure that they're in proper child restraint devices. Winter weather driving is a distraction in itself. It really tests your motor skills and your alertness. So the consumption of alcohol, that just adds to the hazard. So it's important that folks understand you need to have a designated driver or a means of public transportation or shared rides if you're going to be consuming alcohol. KCPD will be out in full force and will be enforcing impaired driving. Now, as the calls for service increase, we may initiate our walk-in policy. Basically, what that consists of is individuals that are involved in accidents that are involving non-injury drivable vehiculars. Our call takers will advise them to walk these reports in. In doing so, what we urge that you do is get off the roadway. You and the other drivers involved, get off the roadways, preferably get into a parking lot or a side road, and especially on the highways, get off the highways. And what we'll ask you to do is exchange information with the other driver. What you'll need is that driver's name, a current address, telephone number, get the insurance information, the insurance carrier, policy number, get the vehicle information, make, color, model, license plate, VIN, and if you can safely, get the location where the accident occurred, so after the weather clears and the roads are cleared and you can safely respond to any one of our police stations, you can file a police report. Often I tell individuals if they have a cell phone on them, just take that cell phone, take a picture of the other driver license, the other insurance card, the vehicle, damage to the other vehicle, and if you can safely take a photo of the area, you're done. 2 minutes, get out of there, and then walk in that report. Hopefully we'll have everything cleared before the Chiefs game this Sunday, and we'll have the roads cleared. I know the Chiefs will be working overtime to make sure that they have their lots cleared so that they can get their fans and guests and employees into the lots safely and quickly. We will have dozens of traffic officers working out at Arrowhead to make sure that we get the fans in as well. What I plead to everyone is make sure that you give yourself plenty of time to get to the game. Drive slowly and be alert. There'll be several officers out in the roadways assisting with getting the fans in safely. And what we ask is that you be mindful and make sure that you're aware of them out there in the roadways and follow their directions. And again, can't stress it enough, make sure that we don't drink and drive. Have that designated driver available to you. Slow down when you're going to the game or anywhere this weekend. Our main goal is to make sure everyone gets to their destinations in a safe manner. And I'll turn it over to Patrina Parker with Ride KC.
Thank you, Captain. Patrina Parker, KCATA Public Information Officer. So Ride KC intends to keep our service running as long as it's safe for our bus operators and for our customers. We anticipate that there will be delays, so you need to follow us on our social media and on our website. You can follow us at Ride KC Transit on our Twitter and on Facebook at Ride KC. We have road supervisors that are going to be out during the storm, and they're going to be monitoring the street conditions. They're going to let us know if there are any delays, any reroutes. They get that information back to our Operation Control Center, and that goes straight out on our social media and also on our website. Again, those social media sites, at Ride KC Transit on Twitter and on Facebook at Ride KC. Also, on Sunday, if the temperatures do drop below 10 degrees, we're going to have a warming bus at 10th and Main. We have a transit center there. Anyone is able to get on that warming bus, and as long as the temperatures are less than 10 degrees, we're going to have that warming bus out there. Again, that's at 10th and Main, and we will let you know that on our social media. So again, we intend to keep our service running. We know people have to get to their destinations. The best thing for our customers are going to do is to follow us on our social media and also to check our website before you decide to make your trips. Again, we want you to dress warmly as you're waiting at the stops and just be alert. Again, we intend to keep our service running. And I'm going to turn it over now to Jennifer Fales with the Emergency Management Office. Go Chiefs.
Thank you, Patrina. With another round of winter weather in the forecast, it's important that we all take a moment to be prepared just in case. So having emergency supplies at your home, basic water, food that doesn't need to be prepared, especially if you have an electric stove and you may lose power, basic first aid supplies, and supplies to deal with any snow we do have. Snow shovels, salt, things for traction, and keeping another kit in your car. With cold temperatures in the forecast, it's also important that we prepare for our family pets. So if you can bring your pets indoors, that's great. If not, please make sure they have warm bedding, access to unfrozen drinking sources, and that you try to keep them as warm and safe as possible. As everyone has already said, if you do have to be out, please make sure you dress in layers, that you have an emergency kit in your car, and that you have a family emergency plan so you know what to do for different circumstances. You can visit our website at www.kcmo.gov/OEM. We have lists of things to keep in an emergency kit. We have tips to prepare your family emergency plan and templates for you. Other than that, I would like to introduce our mayor, Mayor Sly James.
I'll be brief. We're going to keep our website updated at kcmo.gov/snow, and also the webpage with cold weather tips at kcmo/cold or .gov/cold. We appreciate the hard work of our friends at KCPNL. They've had a very difficult job. Just want to remind people, when you're out of power, don't call the city, call KCPL. They're the ones who are going to be able to do something about it. They're the ones that need to hear from you. If you call the city, we're going to tell you to call KCPL, so save yourself the time and call them directly. They'll do everything that they can to help. They keep us advised as much as they can on what's going on with them and where they're trying to get to. But remember that it's a lot easier to bring down a power line, especially a distribution line, than it is to put one back up in cold weather. So it's going to take some time in a lot of instances. So make sure that you think ahead and prepare yourself as best you possibly can for a life without electricity if necessary now, so that you're not stuck at the last minute with nothing in way of options. We owe a huge thanks to the city crews who worked overnight, hours and hours upon end, trying to work on these storms, and now we're about to look at another one. So there's going to be more work ahead on just keeping the roads clear, the snow removed, and branch pickup starting on January 28th. So everybody, if we work together and get this done, I also want to say thanks to all the people in Kansas City who did something nice for somebody without any real reason to do so. People helping get cars out of ditches, people helping neighbors who needed something, all sorts of different things. And I think we did this last year. We started a social media campaign of people helping people in Kansas City. Somebody will find a decent hashtag. But when we see people helping others, we should encourage it by making sure that others know that that's going on. It feeds off of itself, and the more we help each other, the fewer people who will be suffering from serious issues. Thanks. I don't have anything else. We'll take any questions you may have. Thank you all very much. Have a good day. Nobody had any questions, right?
It was probably the biggest thing. You know, you do 12-hour shifts, and it's really hard on the night shifts because you work a day, then transition to night, and your body just has a hard time adjusting, especially the older we get, like some of us who are getting grayer and grayer. So tired, exhaustion, but they're holding up. You know, the equipment's holding up right now. But when you see, you know, this event coming that may last 3 days, and there's another one predicted for Tuesday into Wednesday, when it just becomes monotonous day after day after day, and then there's not a lot of appreciation sometimes. You always hear about what you're doing wrong or what you missed or what you didn't do, and so that negativity doesn't help the morale either when you're always hearing something bad. But overall, you know, that's the job we signed up to do, and we're going to be out there doing it. So just a little bit tired, and especially on the 12-hour shifts, when you have to start looking at snowfall, hour after hour after hour, that wears on you mentally as well, because that's what you have to focus on.